On Imperial Avenue in Cleveland stood a decaying three-story house that blended into its struggling neighborhood. To most, it was unremarkable. But behind its doors lived Anthony Sowell, later called the Cleveland Strangler. What unfolded inside revealed not only his darkness, but also the silence of a community where the vulnerable went unseen. Sowell grew up in a home filled with cruelty. Accounts describe a mother who ruled with violence, beating her children and grandchildren. Abuse became the language of power, and young Anthony learned control through pain. As a young man, he entered the military, where discipline masked his fractured nature. Afterward, addiction consumed him, and the violence that once hid beneath the surface broke through. In 1989, he lured a woman into his home, bound her, and tried to assault her. She escaped, and Sowell was imprisoned for 15 years. When he returned to Imperial Avenue in 2005, he lived alone in his stepmother's old house, quiet, secluded, and unchecked. Soon, women began disappearing. They were women struggling with addiction or homelessness, people who were often dismissed and ignored. Sowell drew them in with offers of alcohol or a place to rest, only to overpower and strangle them. Their bodies were left in crawl spaces, shallow graves, or abandoned in rooms of the house. The stench of decay grew so strong that neighbors complained, but Sowell deflected suspicion with lies about spoiled meat or nearby factories. For a long time, no one looked closer. But in 2009, one survivor escaped and went to the police. When officers entered the house, they uncovered nightmare bodies hidden throughout, victims forgotten by the world long before their deaths. In total, 11 women had been murdered. The trial that followed was chilling. Survivors recounted their escapes, and families spoke of loved ones lost to the shadows of poverty and addiction. The evidence painted Sowell as manipulative and cold. In 2011, he was convicted of murder, rape, and assault, and sentenced to death. Yet his case dragged on through years of appeals, delaying justice. In the end, illness claimed him in 2021 before his sentence could be carried out. The real horror of Sowell's crimes wasn't only his actions but also the neglect that allowed him to operate for so long. His victims were overlooked, their disappearances met with silence, their worth diminished by circumstance. The system failed them. The house on Imperial Avenue was eventually torn down, but its memory lingers like a scar. It stands as a warning of what happens when society looks away, when doors stay closed, and cries for help go unheard. These women were not faceless. They had families, names, and dreams. They deserved to be seen, to be protected, to live. Instead, their lives were stolen twice, once by a predator and again by indifference.